Hello, Paul.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks so much for having me, Wale.
Yeah. Today we have Paul Akingbola in the studio on our channel.
My name is Paul Akingbola. I am the Multilingual MC, a tech entrepreneur, also an humanitarian. And I'm super excited to be on this channel. Thank you so much for having me, Tosi and Wale.
Thank you. So, recently came to Canada.
Okay.
So how are you adjusting to the Canadian lifestyle?
Canadian lifestyle. Okay. Also, usually I would say there is a lot to actually adapt to, which means there's a lot to actually learn and unlearn and relearn. The environment is not the same. The socio-political atmosphere, the economics, just everything, right? The culture. So I think for me, the first step will be to not assume that I know anything, or that I have anything,
Okay.
or that I am anything. You know, you have to calm down. Yeah, just calm down. I think that has really helped a lot. But in more specific terms, I will talk about, the culture shocks, just understanding the need for people to tell you thank you every step of the way. You know, people hold the door for you. They were a bit shocking, right? Just you could hear thank you 100 times within 1 hour. You could hear, sorry, excuse me, please. I mean, they're just normal things, and they are good things. So I call them positive shocks. So you also have to do them, because when you don't do them, people just wonder where is this guy from. So that's something I've had to pick up and adapt to quite easily and quickly. I also talk about the weather, right? I think I was opportunity to come at a time where we had a cool, it was a nice weather, right? It was a good summer, right? When summer was wrapping up, so the weather was relatively.
The summer was very nice. It was very nice.
Yeah. But actually, when I came in, I think there was a particular time, around August, where there was that extreme cold.
It was getting cold around August.
Exactly.
The peak of the summer is usually in July.
Exactly. So there was some 4 or 5 days where it was extremely cold, and then after a while you started to see some sunshine again, and then we're gonna be all right.
Welcome to Canada.
Welcome to Canada. So, but right now, I think the idea is just to keep warm. As you can see, you probably don't know this is Canada, right? Yeah. Because we're in a closed space, and stepping out there, I would say it's so cold out there, my brothers. So, but keeping warm. And just keeping warm, right? Understanding how people cack up, understanding the layers of the dressing. So in another news, you ain't seen nothing yet. We're anticipating, we're looking forward. I think the idea is just to cack up. So weather-wise, I think I'm fine. I think that there's also that part of, the currency, right? Particularly when you have to
calculate.
How much is this? $20? How much is that in Naira? Because I'm a Nigerian, right? So $20. So why me?
That's about 10,000.
10,000, and you're like, this is a lot of money. Of course, like I said before, there was that unlearning to say, Benny, it's a different landscape, it's a different environment. This is how it works here. The same thing you will actually buy in Nigeria for, let's say, 3.5. You have even to buy it here. 3.5, which should be less than $10. You will buy it here at $20. Which is around 10,000, and you're wondering, but the truth is the taxation, the value chain, the production line, just everything about it is not the same.
It's not the same.
So if we expect that kind of equivalence, then there'll be problems. So I think those were some 3 things.
We're spending
Canadian dollar, right? So
when people talking about, it's expensive, I always tell people, you make dollar here. So when you just come from Nigeria,
when you're still trying to get money down,
money. But when you start
making the dollars,
so
there's no point comparing. So that's one of the things that has worked for me as well. So that'll be about the adjustment. Thank you.
So you are an established MC before Nigeria, before you came to Canada.
That's right.
So what is the prospect? Have you started,
of course,
anchoring, events and everything?
Yeah, of course. I think that's the word, right? Established is relative. I think we're all growing.
Yeah.
But to the glory of God, we're not doing badly. Back home. But of course, I think there was a plan, which is one of the things I tell people who want to relocate, that you have to have a plan. And having a plan doesn't take away the part of God in it. But, you trust God, but you also have to have a plan, because trusting God completely is good. But I think when you pray, you need to know what you're praying for.
Yeah.
So which is why I always advocate for people, making good plans before they relocate. So that being said, I had a plan, right? And one of the greatest things I did as plan was to say, okay, when I get in here, who is my market? Who is buying from me? Who would, host events? Whose events would I host? So when I identified all this demographic, so the first thing I did was to start to put myself in those places where my market is. And to the glory of God, I've had a number of events within just 4 months of getting here, including Nigerian events, including...
Yeah, I was there. It was very good.
Thank you. So including events that's also predominantly Canadians, right? Including event that has taken me to sitting political office representatives. So I would say it's working, and the opportunities are there, and they can only get better.
Yeah.
So what I keep doing is to keep putting myself out there, let more and more people know what I do, and specifically because I'm in an environment that values what I do as a bilingual MC, right? So if you have an MC that speaks English, great. You might need an MC that speaks French, awesome. But what if you had the opportunity of just one person hosting your event that speaks to your audience in English and also is able to carry them along en français, right? It makes a lot of sense. So that's what I have to offer. And that is what, of course, is what I've been doing for several years. And then bringing it here, it's more relevant because this is a naturally bilingual environment. So I would say that's one of the things that is working for me. So it can only get better, but we thank God for how far we've come. I've hosted wedding, I've hosted birthday, I've hosted corporate events, a business launch, I've hosted, some social events, an app launch, a mobile application launch. I mean, I've done parties, birthdays, just it's opening up. But I knew, so what were my keys? I knew what I carry. I had to figure out who needs what I carry, and then put myself deliberately in the mind and the eyes of the people who need what I have. And of course, they remember me. They give me one and another person. And I think I love the part where, I had an event recently and they were paying my balance and they paid me extra. So there's also that fulfillment because people value what you do and they feel like you supported us so much, you did beyond what we were expecting. So, and they tip you, right? I don't want to start mentioning numbers, right? But it's good to know that there's a validation for what I do, and people are willing to not just pay for it, but also appreciate. You get the word. So it's working.
That's good. And then you talk about being bilingual. And you can speak English and French.
So as we know, Canada is a bilingual country, right?
Country, yeah.
In the whole wide world. So what that would say is, if you have the aptitude or skills for French
you
and English, for both languages, it sells more. And that's what we see in the business space as well. Sometimes you see advertised roles for, business manager, project, in fact, customer service, any role, right? As a matter of fact, I heard recently that to be the head of a multinational here in Canada, you must be fluent in both languages. So it's a criteria, right? So that shows that it's an environment that values both of the languages. So that's exactly what this will do to anyone in any sector, whether in the entertainment, where I am, which is a hobby, by the way, and a side also, right? That is also relevant in it. I would also assume that in any other field, if you are equally bilingual, it sells more. But that's an identity that I crafted for myself. And quite interestingly, I don't refer to myself as a bilingual MC. I call myself the multilingual MC because I'm coming from a place where, I could speak beyond English and French, some other local languages, and just a little bit of some other, international languages.
What other languages, like Nigerian languages, that you can speak?
Okay, so of course I speak my mother tongue very fluently, which is the Yoruba language. Very fluently, like I'm speaking English right now, because I grew up with my grandmother, so Omodo Agba, But just a little bit of some tit-tat in Igbo, a little bit of a tit-tat in Hausa, and then just a little bit around some other ones, just trying, right? And then some other international languages, some little Spanish, a little bit of German, which was my minor, back in the university, right? Okay. Right. So putting all this together, that's what I always tell people. Whatever it is you want to do, if you sit down, there is something that adds up into, something that you want to do that could take you a lot farther. And that's how I crafted that language for myself. But I think here, it helps to identify more as maybe bilingual, majorly because you hardly find why you want to speak Yoruba now, or some pidgin. But of course, at some birthdays that I've done for Nigerians, right, it gets useful for some
and
Igbo.
Pidgin also, because you have Nigerian,
yeah, exactly.
Nigerian also speak Pidgin.
Exactly. So that's also helping. I didn't even mention the Pidgin aspect. We know they speak Pidgin for Nigeria. So I think that language skill, because I have natural ears for language as well, so it's been helping. But for the bilingual, I've seen that it's opening doors. And I want to believe that it's just the beginning as well.
Canada,
so
you can't go wrong.
Being bilingual, right? So it's standing me out, and I like it. It's a good time to be alive.
I'm jealous.
It's all right. You use Duolingo now. Ou bien vous voulez que je parle français à présent? On peut parler français, essayer de converser en français un peu.
Can you speak Pidgin?
Make we speak Pidgin. Wait till they stop now.
So, going forward, what's your plan?
Okay, the future is bright. Canada is a land of opportunities. We all know that. Yeah. As you can see, there's a lot to be explored, from technology to entertainment to what other things? I mean, languages. So, but naturally, I'm a person of many parts. So I would say I'm open to exploring all the parts. As an MC, I have a book currently being sold on Amazon, written for MCs on how to, start a brand, and make good money as an MC. The title of the book is called MC, How to Build a Brand and Make Cool Money as a Professional MC. So what I'm doing is to help other people understand that the event industry is big. People spend money for irrational reasons. The moment the reason for spending the money is rational, you can't get a lot of money. But event industry is a place where people just want to have a party and spend $10 million, and they can't explain to themselves why they should not spend it. So that's an industry I believe people should play in, so I'm already playing in that industry, and we know the opportunities are bright. The future is bright and the opportunities are innumerable. As a tech entrepreneur, of course, I look forward to exploring all of the possible opportunities that the tech space has to, avail me as an individual as well in the tech industry. As a language expert and as a translator, right, I look forward to scaling my translation business into one that actually employs a lot of people to serve more language, to serve more people and, meet their language needs from translation to interpretation and all of that. As a humanist, I look forward to serving the society in much more remarkable ways, because the environment will always give to you. So the question is if you want to give back. As a coach, a life coach, and a speaker, I look forward to helping more people, shaping their skills, communicate more clearly and persuasively, find their dreams, and most importantly, pursue their dream and become the best version of themselves. And as an author, I look forward to writing more books, maybe podcasts, maybe. There's a lot to do, right? And just explore every possible of myself. Maybe as a father and a husband, becoming more caring, more loving, and just be the best you can be, right? So that's pretty much what looking ahead looks like. Interview, right?
So we have come to the end of today's interview. Thank you, Mr. Paul Akingbola.
Thank you so much for having me.
I've gained a lot from the way you speak.
My pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. So in conclusion, so what can we take away from everything we have done today?
Okay, I would say nothing is impossible for the one who thinks so. What it means is whether you're here in Canada, you're watching from the US, watching from Nigeria, watching from anywhere in Africa, in Ghana, Kenya, Sierra Leone, just anywhere, nothing is impossible if you believe so. The second, you can see that I'm a product of this such possibility. The second part is what you can be is limitless. So you probably believe you're doing fine where you are, you're doing great where you are. But the more you realize that the world is bigger than you, and to succeed in it, you must understand it. And that's one of the takeaways from today. I forget what you know that there is much more to learn, there's much more to know. And if you'll be willing to explore every part of yourself, it goes a long way. And just one more final thing, I would say that a lot of times when people get engaged in activities, they always ask themselves, what do they have? People tend to limit themselves that they don't have anything. My life in particular is one that's been a testifier to the fact that this such mentality is counterproductive. When I went into university to study French at my bachelor, I liked the fact that I was studying French, but I disliked the fact that people thought languages was all I was about. But the truth is, I was sowing seed for what was going to be paying me off now. So that same thing that I despised. When people call you Abidjan, or when people say, just by virtue of you being born in Abidjan and you speak French and they say, Abidjan, the Abidjan boy, in slightly derogatory manner, you don't like it. But today, it gives me edge. So what's your pain that you can actually look slightly deeper into and convert into something that will bring you gain, right? So if you look closely enough, search yourself deeply enough, you'll find something within you that you have to offer that the world will appreciate. Sometimes it comes from a place of pain, right? So search yourself deeply. You always have a lot to offer, because when we play to our skills, I got in here, I host events, and I just make what people literally make for working 2-3 days in 2 hours. What people probably make in a week, 2 weeks, you make it in 6 hours. You get what I mean? So look within, there's something you have to offer. So that's what I'm leaving you with. Where you can get to is illimitable, but you have to search yourself to see how what you have fits into what people need so that you can get what you want, which is and the fulfillment of your dream. Thank you so much for having me, and God bless you.
Thank you, Paul Akingbola. Thank you for
It's been a
coming
pleasure.
around.
It's
So
been a
we're going to
pleasure.
leave your Instagram. People that want to reach out to you can do that.
Yeah, Paul Akingbola is my social media across all the platforms you can imagine. Paul Akingbola.
So don't forget to like, subscribe.
And if there's any way you think I can help, my DMs are always open. I look forward to helping as much as possible people, answer questions, you know. Life's hard out there, so if we have one person to, you know, just help us make it better, why not? Always happy to serve. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful.